Kerry.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy to be back here saving frogs. And I don't know if anyone else will show up, but I'm going to save frogs for the next hour. And hey, hopefully someone does.
Yeah,
We'll
hopefully
see
someone
how
will pop in.
popular an online Million Frog March meetup is. I had the thought just now too, like on the Million Frog March. Hey, let me go ahead and make myself bigger here. Hey, why don't I just, hey, we'll officially start. Hello, I'm Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Kriger. This is a Million Frog March meetup. It's been 1 week since the Million Frog March, the inaugural march out in Washington, D.C. And my goal is to get marchers together so that we can get to know each other better, figure out what everyone wants to do to assist. Hopefully, everyone can assist in promoting, organizing, preparing for the next March, which is going to take place theoretically April 25th, 2026 in Washington, D.C., hopefully worldwide too. On the Million Frog March webpage, I do have a page dedicated to volunteering. It's called the Volunteer Action Million Frog March Volunteer Action Plan. And that has a lot of ways to help. And it says, hey, if you want to do more, then go to our volunteers page, fill out the volunteer application form, and state you want to help out for the Million Frog March. What I want to do, I think we should have these meetings at least once a month. Maybe in April, we'll have them every week, but I can promote these meetings to say specifically, hey, do you want to help with the Million Frog March? Then put this on your calendar and register. Maybe I'll make it a separate, easier registration system. We'll see. Anyway, Nick, how's it going? Did you have anything you want? Do you have anything like you were at the march? What was your march experience? What were you dressed as? And um, what do you have any thoughts for people out there who may end up watching this video, who may have been at the march or may not have been at the march? They may want to set up their own march or join us in DC.
Yeah, so originally I came as myself, just good old Nick. And then about time when the march started, I put on my frog costume, my inflatable frog costume, that had a some kind of crown on top, and I was carrying a sign, said no kings, just frogs. And so I marched around and listened to Kerry talk for about an hour, hour and a half, play some music, recite some poems. It was great to be out there with other people that care not only about frogs and amphibians and animals in general, but the greater environment, along with just democracy as a whole. I think for only putting the march together about, what was it, 16 days before it actually occurred, Curry? I think we had
Correct.
a really awesome turnout. Yeah, so I was not one of the, yeah, well, one of those frogs is me somewhere in there.
I'm gonna I'm gonna find you. You've got a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
let's see.
Um,
How does one inflate an inflatable frog
so
costume?
this was a new thing for me to do as well. Yeah, yeah, I'm in a few of these pictures,
Oh, here
although you
you
can't see
go.
my face. But yeah,
That
there's
looks
me.
like
Yeah,
you. I
yep.
see one. I see some sunglasses on in
Yeah,
there.
so it takes there's like a little fan inside almost, and it takes four AA batteries, and then you zip the thing up, hit the
Oh,
on button, and
crazy.
it actually inflates pretty quickly given the size of the fan. I was a bit skeptical at first, and it stayed pretty well inflated all day. My only issue with it was that I was a little bit sweaty inside, but that's
Even on a
just my
cold day. Is that because you
yeah.
also had a lot of clothes on?
Yeah, I mean, I took my sweatshirt off. I was down into a t-shirt and a pair of jeans there, but I also just I have warm body temperature in general, so no matter what the temp outside was gonna be, I was gonna be a little warm in there. But it actually was not as bad. I think the bigger problem I had was the little plastic face piece. The clear plastic kind of fogged up
Fogs
on me a
up.
few times.
Okay.
But honestly, it wasn't that bad, and I think it was very much worthwhile to wear it. A lot of people were excited to see me. A lot of people came up that were not a part of the march and either had questions about what we were doing out there, so it would help draw attention to the cause. But they just wanted pic. Yeah, there's me again. They just wanted some pictures in general. So I think we got some engagement from people that otherwise would have probably just walked right on by and not really given us a second thought. So hopefully for the next one, I know we've talked about this, hoping we can get, you know, a larger number of people in general there, but also even more people in costumes, hopefully. So
Okay, good. Thanks for that. Yeah, I actually I have a contact who works or worked in Chinese like manufacturing, and I'm sure all of these inflatable costumes are coming from China. Hey, if someone knows where to get inflatable costumes that are not made in China, definitely let me know. But I was considering writing to her and saying, "Hey, do you know how to get custom made inflatable frogs? Because then we could get them like orange and green with like a maybe a Save the Frogs logo or
that would
something right there that's kind of a branded thing.
that would be
And
cool.
yeah, and then people wouldn't have to buy them from certain companies that
Yeah,
they may
that
not
was
want
my
to
dilemma too,
they
a
may
little
not
bit,
want
but
to support. And but hey, maybe we could get one with like a fan, a ventilation system or something.
well, so Paige had hers, and hers was very similar to mine, but hers had not only did it have two fans inside, which sounded like it helped keep her a little bit cool. Hers also, and I'm not sure where she got hers. It was some, other online retailer. But hers also had hole or like places for your hands to stick out. So at least
Okay.
you could get a little bit fresh air in there, whereas I was
Yeah.
totally enclosed. But again, you know. I think it was. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I thought it was really cool. It was fun. It was great to see a smile on people's faces. So at the next March, I think you emailed us either yesterday or the day before with the official date. I think for March number two,
April
right, Kara?
25th.
April 25th. I will certainly be there, and I will, be in my frog suit once again. So
Okay, good. All right. Let's see. I didn't really have a plan for this meeting, as is often the case. So, what we can do right now, there's always the default of, hey, I'm just going to get some work done right now. But I think what I'll do right now is go back and show the website because there's more than 1 Million Frog March web page. There's the main Million Frog March homepage. We'll call it savethefrogs.com/march. It used to be savethefrogs.com/million. Both of them will work. Currently, savethefrogs.com/march. But I've also built several related pages with a lot of information. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Can you see my screen right now, Nick? I muted you, so unmute yourself. All right, let me unshare, do it again, and then I know it'll work out. There you go. Okay, so let's go to savethefrogs.com/march. And actually, let's just go to the homepage from the top. You show up on the homepage, and I put it right here. Hey, somewhat front and center, not above the fold. It's below the fold, but there it is. And there we've got a button you can click to get us to the main to the main March homepage. And from here, if you're looking for photos from the inaugural Million Frog March, you can go there. Let's just go ahead and open that up because we'll say there's, call it, three main pages right now. There's the March summary page, all about the March, which will link out to all the important pages. Okay. Then, if you want to know what the March was all about and what happened, we've got this March DC 2025 page right here that's got photos from the March as we just saw. What else is on here? Kind of a summary story of what took place. And there's a couple downloadable things you can download. My poetry recital with 6 or 7 poems there. You can download threats to the environment, threats to democracy. So those are all PDFs. And there's videos. There's this interview that I did at the end. It's this bottom one here. And so go watch that interview. It's like 4 minutes long, and then a ton of photos down there. If you click on any photo, it'll open up big. You should be able to right click it, save image as if you want to do that. And we've got this slideshow action right here. All right. So what else is in here? Million Frog March 2026 page, savethefrogs.com/march DC 2026. And so this is to promote the upcoming March. So in general, if you're promoting the event, probably just use savethefrogs.com/march because people should be able to land on that homepage and find all of these pages quite easily. That's my goal. But on this page, I still have plenty to put on here, but we've got the date. There's a button to RSVP. So if you know you're going to show up, hey, Nick, if you know you're going to be there, go ahead. Hey, maybe you can do that right now as you're
Yeah, I could
plowing
be an
through the
early
because
adopter here.
it makes me feel better when I see that registration list filling up. And Nick was the first. Actually, you gave me extra reason to do the event because you're like, I'm an enthusiastic yes for showing up. And then I said, oh, all right,
Indeed,
he's
I
not even
was.
from the DC area and he's going to show up. So this is going to be good. All right. Now, I personally think this little promo graphic is awesome, so I encourage people to share it because, hey, that's when, I don't know, are you in outer space or what? No, it's the Million Frog March, and we've got cool inflatable frogs and axolotls. All right, Washington, D.C. main event right here. So there's a button. It just, hey, brings you right down here with some details about the event. And there's the RSVP button. So if you know you're going to show up, do that. Event schedule, I just have some basic information about what's going to take place because we don't have the full schedule. I am actually going to be on a podcast this Monday. It turns out that two of the participants who weren't there that long are, well, at least one of them is from a famous political think tank called the Brookings Institution,
Oh.
and he did not make himself known to me when we were there, but I fortunately found out by I did a search on Perplexity AI a few days ago, and I just said, "What is the Million Frog March?" And I assumed it was only going to be our web pages that came up as sources because there was less, we'll say less coverage of the event than I hoped for. But it had another web page, so I opened it up, and there was um, him and his co-host talking about the Million Frog March. They had been there in frog suits, one inflatable and one not. But anyway, I had actually invited another person from the Brookings Institution to speak about democracy at the event. We didn't have any guest speakers. I ended up speaking because I couldn't find any guest speakers. It was late when I was looking for them. But anyway, hopefully he or the original person I wanted to speak can attend the next one, and that they can get the word out to that community that is clearly well connected with the pro democracy and we'll say Washington, D.C. protest movement. So, anyway, I'm going to be on their podcast in 2 days. So, that's exciting. What else is here? Make it a frog filled weekend. Hey, even better than just coming down for a 2 hour march, we are going to come up with some type of educational indoor activity on Sunday, April 26th. And I assume that will be speeches, presentations in an auditorium all about frogs and hopefully it could possibly be Saturday night. Nick, what do you think if we did a frog walk? Really, we could have an educational thing take place. If it took place on Friday, the day before, we could potentially get a local university, such as the that video interview that's up on the site that was done by an American University student. I could contact him if I can find his address. I don't know if he ever registered and he hasn't written me yet, but assuming I can, he does write me, we could ask him to look around at American University and find an auditorium that could be given
That could be
to us
really cool.
free. And then there's going to be kind of a guaranteed audience of students who are there, but hopefully it could also be open to the public. So there's that. Anyway, there's also what I was thinking was if we did a frog walk, would that be best on Friday night, the night before? Probably not Saturday night, but maybe if people only have one day, Saturday night. I don't think so because it's our, who knows? But then Or it could be Sunday night. Maybe Sunday night's too late. People are trying to go home. What do you
Yeah, I
think
might be
would be
headed
the
back
best
for the
day?
week and stuff. But yeah, Friday night, especially like, will there be a good place close to DC for a
Well,
walk?
that's what I'm thinking. Like, there's a good place close to me, which is call it. It would be on a Friday night. Yeah, traffic. That would be bad news. Really, Friday night's a bad traffic day to get anywhere outside of DC, from my experience. So maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. But if we had something like the March technically ends at 3, if people hang out and go eat food and they have 2 hours and then we do something like 6:30 p.m., they got an hour and a half to get somewhere. I think that's probably plenty of time to recover and go out on a Saturday night when there's
Yeah,
going to be less traffic. So maybe we'll do that. My plan, like, generally I'd be like, no, that's too much for me to do all at once. But if
well,
I
one
have
day.
if I have 4 months, 5 months to plan it, then it hopefully won't come down to me being, you know, not ready for
Right.
stuff. It should be well prepared. What I was thinking was, it depends on how many people register, because if
Well, maybe you could
people
also once we or at least have an idea of when, perhaps maybe gauge interest on the RSVP. Would you also be interested in joining us for a frog walk on Saturday evening, or
correct,
what day would work best for you, maybe, or kind of thing? I don't know.
and do you have transportation?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably going to be hard if you have transportation, then come join us, because it's going to be, I can't think of anywhere in DC. I don't think I've ever gone frogging in Washington DC. Hey, other than yeah, did I even see frogs at the zoo? I don't think so. Maybe, I can't remember, but I wouldn't call that frogging. Anyway,
Right.
people would come either to Virginia or Maryland. If there's not, I'd say, like, I could handle 10 to 15 people out here, call it a 40-minute drive from DC. There's maybe closer, I'm not sure. I've never driven it direct from DC, but at the event, there were, I think they were the students from Northern Virginia Community College, whose professor I know, and told him about the event. I think that they said they do stuff at Huntley Meadows, which is in Virginia, and that's a really good place for green frogs, though they may not yet be out that early. But what I was thinking was, if we get, like, hey, I can take the first 10 people or 15 people. If there's more people, then we get one of those groups to also hold an event. And then there was someone that was friends of oh yes, the woman who was taking roll attendance registration there. She actually turned out to be a researcher for most of her life, for
Yeah, I talked to her. I remember
oh,
her.
okay, yeah. And she had done chytrid research at the National Zoo long ago, and the National Zoo was a famous place for chytrid, for the initial chytrid research. So I thought that was interesting. And now I believe she's president of Friends of Sligo Creek. I don't know if I'm saying that right, in Maryland. So basically, like, we can contact some other local groups if there does turn out to be a good number of people who want to
Yeah, to help
attend and
out with the
stuff. And
actual going
yeah,
out for a walk. Yeah.
have them lead a frog walk as well. Okay, so let's consider that for Saturday night. And let me go back to this webpage, see what else, oh, excuse me, what else is up here. Photos and videos from the 25 March, so that if someone's on the 2026 page, they can easily go see what happened in the past. Spread the word. I just took all the new graphics that I have not yet used. I got these, one of our Million Frog March volunteer meetup participants, Brenda Cardenas from Mexico, made up a bunch of these, and I just threw them up here. But we should get, I'd like to get a graphic designer making new graphics. This one I think is awesome. And yesterday I made a vertical version of it right there. So that thing will go on Instagram. And let's see. Yeah, what I'd also like is to get an 8.5 by 11. I have one of the participants said that he could post flyers around wherever he lives in the DC area. And it would be good, even, like, I'd consider potentially finding one of those company. Nah, I won't even. I don't know. Let's start out with an 8.5 by 11 flyer that local people can post up in their place. Now, let's see why we chose the date. Hey, it's optimal planning time, meaning we've got a lot of time to Organize ideal weather. Hey, it may be raining. We can't predict that, but hopefully it'll be good weather. Even if you're inside of an inflatable frog, probably going to be in t-shirts, a
Yeah.
t-shirt and shorts for the next one. And connection to Save the Frogs Day, meaning that, hey, it's 4 days before Save the Frogs Day. The 18th annual Save the Frogs Day is April 28th, 2026. That means through this event, we can promote Save the Frogs Day, and we will definitely have a worldwide accessible, globally accessible Save the Frogs Day online event on Tuesday, April 28th, that we can invite people to. And it's still time, even if people travel to this event in DC, they should be able to get home and run their own event, which hopefully they were already organizing. But hey, maybe there will be some last minute people who think they can do something and they just show up at the Million Frog March and are inspired to do a Save the Frogs Day event a few days later. Not sure how easy that would be. And that's it. Join the movement right here. I should probably have a another RSVP button and more articles. All these pages should end with more articles you may enjoy, which should be all Million Frog March related articles. So yes, let's see what there is. I told you there were a good number of them. We've seen the main March page, 25 page, the 26 page, and we've got email templates. We've got social media templates. I need to update those, so I could end up doing that right now, just changing all the dates from 25 to 26. We'll look at them. Here is the action plan, and it's possible, hey, probably I should put this video up on that page. So if you're looking for where this video will end up, or any of these videos, I'll probably put them all on that volunteer action page. How to organize a satellite event. That means if you want to hold an event, you don't plan to show up in DC, you could set up your own Million Frog March in your own city. And what I was thinking yesterday about that, I had assumed I kind of wanted everyone doing them on the same day, but it's possible that just doesn't fit people's schedule. And with the other, some of the famous, we'll say, movement, campaign, advocacy, protest websites that I see now, people are just registering their own event for whenever, and it shows up as an event that's happening. And that may we may just say to people, hey, because it's kind of been difficult for Save the Frogs Day. I'm like, yeah, do it at the end of April or whatever. But hey, Million Frog March, do it whenever you want. Whenever you're ready to hold a
Whenever you
Million
can get
Frog
people
March,
together. Yeah.
register it, hold it,
Yep.
get people there, take good photos, and let's send in an event report. All right, coming down further here. This is a brand new article I wrote that I wrote it a few days ago. This was after the march, and this is in response actually to the podcasters, the the two people who showed up at the event who were only there for a while did a video podcast, I guess you'd call it, a video. That's what I saw from Perplexity. It linked to their site, and they didn't have the best time. They thought with one of them, without even though she had the link, she didn't go to the website to look what the event was. She just assumed in her head it's going to be hundreds of people in inflatable frog costumes protesting ICE for which I'm like, okay, like, can you set up an event and get hundreds of inflatable frog people there? It's not quite that easy. And no, we never said it was going to be an ice
Anything
related.
isolated, probably just associated with the protests, maybe in Portland
Correct.
and
Yeah, it's
Chicago and
because hey,
such,
there's
right?
going to be inflatable frogs. Frogs are out in the
Yeah.
streets in this day and age. I understand. Yeah, just an assumption it's going to be ice
Yeah.
related stuff, and
Understandable.
she spread the link, and that may be where some of those somewhat unrelated looking frog people showed up for. So then they were a little disappointed that it was small to them and that it was not on the exact topic as expected. But I wrote an article. I sent them the article. I said, hey, let's we both have we all have a vision of hundreds or thousands of inflatable frogs or frog themed people walking around the National Mall. Let's actually make that happen. So I wrote this article, and it kind of doubles as a kind of summary of maybe not just the facts about what happened at the event, but maybe my opinion that I actually thought it was extremely well attended. I did a little bit of research and found out that the first ice protest, which took place in Oakland in maybe June, there were only an estimated 20 to 40 people there. So we're like double the size
Wow.
of the first ICE protest. So anyway, misperception one, there weren't many marchers. I actually thought there were a lot of marchers. Misconception number two, most people were confused about the event's purpose. I thought that most people there knew exactly why we were there. And misconception three, there was a lack of pro democracy content. That's what the democracy guy thought. But hey, we had Star Spangled Banner, we had Declaration of Independence reference, Gettysburg Address reference. We had lots of posters with
Yeah.
references to democratic issues, such as Nick, no kings, just frogs. Happy to be here for democracy, frogs for freedom. Divided we croak, together we hop against tyranny. Frogs and humans for healthy democracies and healthy ecosystems. Frogs together strong. We'd rather croak than be silenced, which was featured on my protest. And we were at the National Mall, which is one of the most famous places in the world for protests related to democracy,
Democracy for
human
sure.
rights, and other things that we also, most of us, certainly me, also support. And let's see what else is here. Oh, yeah, the other thing was, hey, they were not frog people, but I think that's they weren't frog people, and they were like, yeah, I normally wouldn't go to a frog protest, like a protest about frogs, but I think that's what's good about our thing is that we can draw in a lot of different people because whether you care about democracy, whether you care about frogs and the environment,
Yeah.
then
There's
we're
certainly a
well.
lot of overlap for sure amongst
Correct.
the
There are a
topics,
lot of
but
people who care about them both. And
yes.
so, but the fact that someone would like, that thing's not important compared to the real important thing is saving our democracy. It's like, well, we're always going to have a reason to like put environment last if we think of like, the economy comes first. There's all these things that has always been, at least in the last, pretty much my whole lifetime, but certainly in the last 10 or 20 years, environment keeps slipping away like it's wildlife got replaced by climate, which is environmental, but it's kind of different. All of a sudden, the
Hmm.
environmentalists were more into climate, and then climate has been going away as it gets trashed by the administration as a bad thing or something to avoid. And then, like, hey, there's no longer any time for environment because we have to focus on
All these
democracy.
other things that are
Correct.
possibly quote unquote more important, right?
Correct.
Like human lives are undoubtedly, but yes.
So let's see. I put that in some context and reaffirm that, hey, this was the first of the protests. It's going to grow. It was the first time. We now have people ready to go. We've done a lot of stuff. Hey, we got these like 10 web pages ready to go promoting it. And another thing is that like we were just saying, like we can bring in a lot of people. We've got all these DC based environmental organizations that have combined many millions of followers. The Defenders of Wildlife, World Wildlife Fund, Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC, Sierra Club, National Geographic Society, and I'm probably forgetting a couple others. There's National Wildlife Federation. They're not technically in DC. Maybe that's why I didn't put them in here, but all those groups, they're not going to send their people, they're not going to be promoting ICE protests or refuse fascism protests or topple. I can't remember. There was one. Oh, it's happening right now, actually, in that Irish band. What's the band that's playing there that has become popular and their main guy likes to speak out against the current administration. Anyway, there's something big. I think it's big. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Going on the National Mall right now, and it's something like topple the regime or something like that. But you know that those organizations and Save the Frogs, like we're not going to be sending our people to those events because one, it's not necessarily related to what we do, and it's potentially controversial, and it's potentially dangerous too. So these organizations can hopefully send their people, promote, partner with Save the Frogs to get people out to an environmental event that's billed as family friendly, where we don't expect any problems to occur. And therefore, we would be growing the pro democracy movement at the same time, by a lot by getting people who are mostly concerned about the environment to show up. All right, so check out that page. And hey, like I said right here, why I'm committed to this movement. When I decided to go through with my thought to organize the Million Frog March, I said that even if nobody else shows up, I will be there to march. So we got a whole lot more people than just me, and I
Than just
expect
you,
it to
for
keep
sure.
on
Yeah.
growing because, hey, not only is it important, it's a lot of fun to be out there. And enough of that page. Let's see what else we have. Million Frog March, organize an event in your city. So this page has been up. I'll update it to get these dates correct for the next March. But basically, it says, "Hey, why organize an event? You can organize an event. What you're going to get, what you're not going to get from us, your responsibilities, and some tips on what to do, best practices, code of conduct. Number one, nonviolence. Hey, family friendly. Hey, let's just go ahead and read this. Nonviolence, no violence or property damage of any kind, no graffiti. Respect, treat all people with dignity, including those who disagree. De escalation, if tensions arise, step back, diffuse peacefully. Family friendly, keep the language and the signage appropriate for all ages. Safety first, follow organizer instructions and support safety observers. Hopefully, we didn't really need any of that. Joyful resistance, creative, upbeat activism is powerful activisms. And hey, I don't know if this belongs in the actual code of conduct. I'll put it somewhere else. Document everything. Take photos and videos for transparency and safety. Hey, we even have a frequently asked question thing right there. So, plenty of info. And then, are you ready to organize a Million Frog March satellite event? There's a registration page when you click that, and some contact info. Here we've got the Million Frog March volunteer action plan. Save the frog, savethefrogs.com/million volunteers. And what do we have? Hey, we can click on this page to see what's on the page, and we can even click anything to get taken straight to it. So here we have yes, two past videos that we did. That was like a week and a half ago of the Million Frog March volunteer meetups. This first one is, I think, the most important one. I think I went over a history of the Million Frog March before the event or what led me to it. I can't remember what's in it, but that one is important to watch. And I will put this video on this page. And I think as we create more of these videos, they'll go up there. So, ways to help on social media, commenting on posts to promote the event, on comment on relevant posts where people reading the post will potentially be interested in the event. Download our graphics and share them. Email your network. We do have email templates. And contacting local student groups, contacting local environmental groups, contacting civil rights and democracy organizations, creating your own graphics. Hey, maybe you're a graphic designer. Start a local organizing group. Um, related to people in your area. I was actually thinking, I don't know what people use, but we could potentially have a Million Frog March, a digital group, wherever that would be, Discord or WhatsApp or
Right. Yeah.
Telegram or somewhere. Um, Obviously, no one, you'll never find a group of people where everyone uses the same thing, or not often anyway. All right, bigger actions. Organize a satellite event in your city, pitch the local media. We do have a press release. We actually have press releases now, and organize a sign making party. If you're coming with people, hey, you could make your signs together, film it, turn into a cool social media video, share stories and updates afterwards, engage with the movement content if you see us posting on social media at Save the Frogs. Answer questions, onboard people. Hey, if there's people who you can educate, do that. Some talking points and resources. Okay, so there's a lot there. That's the volunteer action plan. Then we've got social media templates. I'm going to update all of these. It's just got some basic copy paste if you want to just help promote the event and use any of these graphics with any of the posts. You don't have to use only the pictures showing by the post. There's basic announcement, personal invitation, call for people to organize their own event, and a quick teaser just reminding people of the event. Here's one specifically meant for environmental groups to get other groups engaged. Countdown. Hey, it's only hey, maybe we need a I could put a countdown up on our site. Maybe I'll do that right now. I'll stop talking in a moment and then start doing something the day before hype post, day after, hey, I forgot we even had this and I didn't send that out. Really, I need to get on top of putting all, now that I've kind of built out the website, I'm going to start putting all the photos up on social media and such. All right, hashtag collection, if you want to use any of those, some do's and some don'ts. And here are the email templates. So if you like sending out emails, here's subject line and then who it's for, short and direct. Hi, organization team. So hi, friends of whatever creek. Save the Frogs organizing a march. Here's the info. Here's what's going to happen. Learn more and register. Call to action. All right, more details in the next one. If you like sending longer emails, partnership. Do you want to partner with Save the Frogs? Send that to a relevant organization and a regional organization. So, hey, maybe that's just some group that happens to be in DC and they have a, membership. For universities, if you're writing to professors or students at a university, bunch of different ideas for subject lines, tips for sending, follow up email if no one responded, some key points, and see if there's anything else we did not do. We have done this. So, yeah, that seems to be the main pages. So, we've got a ton of stuff up there for anyone. Come to savethefrogs.com/March, and most of that stuff it should be linked out to somewhere on here. I'm going to update this page a little bit. So, anyway, um, there you go. That's a summary of what we've got up on the website. And let's see, Nick, anything missing there or that we should have, or any thoughts on that?
No, I think, I think especially we're looking at what, 5 months away, and to have at least an RSVP up for the next event and a good recap of the past event from last Saturday, and not only including, a whole bunch of pictures and videos, which I think are really cool and probably get people, be like, oh, it'd be not only an effective march and to get the message out, but also a good place to meet like-minded people too and expand your circle and your network a bit, which was also a good reason to be out there. So I think we have especially a leg up compared to our prep for the last March too.
Yeah.
So I think that's. I mean, I also have an email I'm putting together for UK with just some, ideas for the actual event for in-person stuff for next time, but you'll get that from me in a few days, and we can talk about it then too. So,
Okay, good. Yeah, that's the other thing. If people out there, certainly people who attended the event, like, hey, we're going to have to come up with a schedule for the next event and things that are going to happen. If there's anything that didn't happen that should happen, like, hey, guest speakers, I'm going to certainly try to have a
yeah, that's for
well
sure
known.
one.
I want to get my original thought was, I mean, I had some guests. I did invite a few guest speakers. It was very last minute though, but it would be cool to get Seth Todd out there, who's the original inflatable frog protester, and our friends at Operation Inflation may be able to contact him. Hey, is he a good speaker? I don't know, but I thought it would be cool to have him there, and maybe I could kind of interview him and ask him a few questions about how, his experiences, and a well-known pro-democracy kind of political speaker who can take care of the democracy side of things, and then I can focus on the frog side of things. Aside from that, I was thinking, hey, we should have like a costume contest, we'll say best costume, and maybe have someone there who kind of your volunteer job is to look around, choose the 5 or 10, who knows, top costumes and get them up, and then have a little, walk like the beauty pageant or something, and show us what you got, and maybe answer a question or something, and then people can, who knows what, clap and choose a winner. That could be fun. Do you have any other ideas of stuff that should take place at the event, or we
Well,
just go?
the one you just mentioned, Kerry, I think not that you aren't a good speaker and that you shouldn't speak the entire time. I think just, for your sake and also just to kind of, break it up a little bit, to have other people besides yourself speaking and not
Yeah.
necessarily just a guest speaker that can speak to, the democratic ramifications. But also even like for I actually like the poetry read, but I think for something like that, if maybe at that point like you have either people lined up or people volunteer, be like maybe a different person reads each poem or something like that. Just brings a little bit of a
Yeah.
different energy to it, and let people express themselves a little bit more too, without having to go up there and kind of riff on why we're marching, and at least so it takes the pressure off some people too. It might be easier for them to get up there at least the first time and say a few words and it's already, written out for them what they're going to say and also just, just change things up a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, it was never my original plan that I was going to be up there talking the whole time.
No,
It's just
I don't
like
think it probably
I was
was.
I was so busy trying to get people to show up that I didn't
Yeah.
put much time into like what's actually going to take place at the event. I just know that I can always, if you put a mic in my hand, I can talk about frogs for as long as I'm allowed to. So I wasn't all that concerned about it. But yes, like um I didn't have time. Like I was not taking photos or really talking to people aside from the first, like, 5, 10 minutes when I showed up. I was just busy giving my speech and kind of conducting the event. So it would be good. Like it's easier for me if, other people talk. And one thing that I had thought to do that I did not have time to do, or I forgot about it, was to ask people beforehand. It could even be in the registration, it like, do you have anything you want? There could be two things. Like, you have any questions you want answered at the event? So a little Q&A from people
Yeah.
about the event. And do you have anything you want to say? Like, do you want one to pick how long you need the microphone in your hand for? Do you want 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, or something short like that? And what is it you're going to talk about? Because I don't like people getting up there, and some people are just they kind of ramble and they're not good
Well, and then
public
you also don't want to
speakers.
lose control of where it's going
Yeah.
either. Like, because and not that that necessarily would happen, but there's a chance depending on who gets the
Yes.
mic.
But if
So
if people kind of fill it out in a form, then I can tell if they know what they're talking about,
yeah.
and maybe even talk to them beforehand, and then have a known, like, you got 60 seconds. I'm taking the mic away, and because otherwise people lose track. So anyway, let's put those on the my schedule. Oh, I had it there. Open mic as not guest speakers is actually somewhat partially open mic. I'll say partially open mic, and I'm going to put um, attendees can submit a request to speak for 1, 2, 3 minutes beforehand and provide their topic. We can approve them beforehand. Okay, so that's a partially open mic. And then the next thing was going to be that's weird. It's going to be the Q&A, so people can submit questions they want answered, perhaps during registration. Okay, good. Let's see. Another thing I was thinking, it could be good to get a group photo session beforehand, because not everyone there at the start is there at the end, and people are just kind of some people are just hanging out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take long to take the. It'll be less people probably. It could be quick. So I'm gonna say group photo session, um, final group photo session. So then I'm gonna start it out with that. Oh yeah, that's it. Group photo at the beginning is there. Selfies with the early arrivals. Let's see, a musical intro, opening remarks from me, costume contest, partially open mic. So now we do actually need to get our, I'll say after the opening remarks from me. Hey, we could have a costume contest right then. Now let's get the speaker up there, guest speakers. And I assume that would probably be like 10 to 15 minutes max. 10 to 15 min max. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it sounds about right, I think, Kerry.
Okay. All right, costume contest, partially open mic, Q&A, final group photo session, and then I think that we should have I had on here one-on-one outreach, educate passersby about frogs and environmental democracy connections, stay in the designated square area, engage interested onlookers. Because that also this time I asked people like, hey, do we want to meet up here in 10 minutes? And everyone before we march, and everyone was like, nah, let's go right now. So we just kind of boom took off right then. But I think it would be good to just kind of talk to people, and then it also gives people like a bathroom break or a, you know, I
Yeah,
mean, I guess
yeah.
people are kind of standing there. They could be a lot of people were sitting on the steps, so I guess people are rested, but I I think people should just have a slight break before we head out, and that could be to go and talk to people or, take selfies. I'll even put that one-on-one outreach, um, and and engage with other participants because maybe people were busy listening and watching the event. So selfies with other participants, upload something to social media and tag at Save the Frogs. Stay in designated square area. And then I don't think we'll have it this time because it brings in another kind of people, drumming for the frogs. Because also it's hard to, because but I was also thinking of that because I like the fact that we can get these permits to do these things there in the public space, and I wrote our there's a kind of permit team who delivered us our permit from the National Park Service, and I asked them, I was like, are we allowed to have unamplified drums at the event? And they said yes. So it would be fun for me maybe another time to get a drumming for the frogs because there are like drum circles. I've never been to it, but I know in DC, at least in the past, there was a weekly drum, like a every Sunday drum circle somewhere in DC, and they get like strange.
They do.
You get
I've
some
been to
strange
one
people.
I've been to one twice actually in Asheville, North Carolina, and it is quite the spectacle.
Yeah.
But I mean it's it's cool, but yeah.
Yeah. So we had them in the past. They were, let's see, we had two. One was an actual protest because um the drums are perfect for making a lot of noise at a protest, and we it was at a golf course where people do not want noise, and we were protesting against the management of the golf course. So it was perfect for that. And then we had one that was just a musical event focused on the music. But this could be interesting for another time. Anyway, we won't have a drumming for the frogs unless it's. I think that's best left just for the march itself. That I play a little bit of drums, not too much, but a little bit of drums as we march. So invite onlookers to join. Hey, we did, and we got 4 onlookers joining us all the way up to the Washington Monument. And so there's drumming for the frogs. Speak with reporters and filmmakers during the march. Now, where would the march go? I don't necessarily need to return to the Washington Monument. That was cool. We do pass a decent number of people, but not like tons of people as we march. It's a nice, relaxing walk, that's for certain. But I was thinking of changing it up. Like the two possible things would be on Constitution Avenue, at least if it's a high traffic day, which Washington, D.C. often has, then there could be a lot of people in vehicles who see our signs. Of course, it's not, I mean, if you're crossing the street, it's not that safe, but hey, you just wait for the light to change, I guess. But
Right.
the other
Yeah.
thing that could be more relevant, I need to look up how long it would be. It would probably be at least a mile, would be to go straight from there. Actually, in 2011, at our US EPA protest, we went to Lafayette Square. That's where I was thinking to go. That's the plaza grassy park on the north side of the White House. So they actually gave us a patrol car or there was some police clearing traffic or doing traffic for us as we marched, which was cool. So we could actually go straight from the Lincoln Memorial to Lafayette Square and end up on that side of the White House. Maybe the south side would be closer. I'm not sure what the allowable, where how close they get,
Hmm.
or not that we need to be right on top of the um, White House, but just to kind of be a bit more visible in the city of DC. Maybe I should go walk it on one Saturday to see how many people are out and about, because the goal would be to get a lot more visibility as we walk, and then have a final speech or something in Lafayette Park. What do you think about that? Like, should we
No,
just
I like a little bit of a change of scenery, change of venue too, so keeps it a little fresh. So
okay? All right, good. The other thing would, yeah, let's just keep thinking about that. I will maybe one day go do that walk, or I'll certainly investigate the distance and therefore how long it is. People don't have to be there for the whole thing, and if someone really wanted to meet up with us at Lafayette Square or something, they could just publicly transport them or privately transport themselves there. All right, so that is everything. I mean, we can end this a little bit early. I think you have any final thoughts?
no, nothing that we haven't already discussed. Just I'm glad we got an early start on this, putting together the plans for the next one. I'm excited to see what it looks like in a few months. So
All right, good. I'm looking forward to it. Let's call that good. Everyone out there, I'm Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Kriger. We've been here with board member, treasurer, Nick Rosati, planning out the next Million Frog March scheduled for April 25th, 2026 in Washington, D.C. If you want to take part in the march, go to savethefrogs.com/march, RSVP to attend. If you want to join these volunteer events, either just let us know through the contact page or go find the volunteering portion of the site if there's info about it there. And if you want to organize your own event, go to the March page and click through to the event organizers area and set up a Million Frog March in your part of the world on any date that you think you can get a good turnout. All right, with that, goodbye and enjoy your day. Bye.